Hello beauties, and welcome back to the Bumpy Bones Locksport channel. Now I'm really excited to be recording this video because I'm going to be doing a review of a really cool lockpicking set that I picked up last month. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to be talking about the Renegade Pro Set from Lock Tools. Now one thing that really kind of drew my attention to these picks is how they're designed. So let's go ahead and talk about their design. I love the design. It's nice and ergonomic. It's a nice wide handle, but it also has a bit of a curve to it. And it has texture to it by the way that they did these cutouts and all that. So it's really nice to grip. If you are gripping it for, like, say you have a lock that has the driver pins and the key pins going upward, it's very comfortable to hold and to manipulate the pins in an upward fashion. If you have a Euro cylinder that has the key pins and the driver pins facing downwards, it is really comfortable to hold the pick that way and to pick in a downward manner. If it's going sideways, it's really comfortable to go sideways in both directions. So I absolutely love the design of these picks. And so in comparison, when you're looking at, say, like Covert Instruments or Multi-Pick here, both of these picks have the similar design in terms of the popsicle style or the sandwich style where you have three sheets of metal. The middle metal is the actual pick, and then you have the handle metal on both sides, which gives it a nice width to it. Um, but what's really different about here is just that handle design. It's longer, so it fits in the hand nicely, and it's wider, and so it's more comfortable to hold. I love these picks. I love multi-pick, and I love Covert Instruments. I actually just got the multi-pick set not too long ago, and I'll probably do a review of these in the future. But I just really like this a lot better. And it's kind of the same thing with sparrows. And so with sparrows, you have three different styles. You've got a style here. This is one of their monkey paws. You can get thermal handles on most of their picks, but some they don't have on it. The thermal handle is nice. It does add some texture and a nice width to it, but they don't have it on all their picks. And so on the picks that they don't have it, it's just a single sheet of metal. And so I really had to do a big wrapping, bowstring wrap on this with multiple layers in order to really kind of build it up and make it comfortable to use. They do have a wider handle on select picks, which is nice, but it's kind of the same as the other picks. It is a blocky style. While it is comfortable to hold, or somewhat comfortable to hold, just the design of this is so much better. I'm having a hard time kind of finding the words of comparison because there's just a huge difference between the styles of these. The metal that's used in the lock tools is actually a really nice stiff metal. It is nice and flexible. I can feel comfortable in bending it around and all that. It's a nice strong metal. I forget the actual metal that they use. I want to say it is, let me look that up real quick here. Yep, 301 stainless steel, which is a really, really good metal to use for lockpicks and all that. A lot of the good brands have that metal, and it's got a high PSI. I'm very confident with these picks and all that. And there actually is a bit of a difference in terms of the flexibility. If I go with multi-pick here, it is a lot softer. I get more bend out of it. Um, I find Covert Instruments to be about similar. I think Covert Instruments uses 301 steel as well. I'm not 100% sure, so don't take my word for that. But all these are good picks, but I just really like the Lock tools uh, a lot. The other thing I really like about the set here is that you get picks that have different widths in it. And so in my previous video where I show how I do the bowstring wrapping, um, the red and the black are the 0.6 millimeters or 0.025 or 0.024 inch width picks. And then the black is the .5 millimeters or the .020 or .019 inch width picks. So it's really kind of nice that they include that. And you can kind of visually tell which one's which based off the base of the pick. So you can see that you have this design on this pick here at the very base here. And you'll notice that's kind of the same for all of the .5 millimeter thick handle or picks. But then with the wider picks, you have a little bit of a different base here. So it's kind of a nice visual so that you can tell the width of the pick that you're using with it. I just like that visual of the bowstring wrap, and I like the feel of it. And so I did it on these picks here, and it really helped elevate these picks even more. What's really nice about these picks is if you go to Etsy or eBay, you can actually find people who have done 3D printed handles for these or wood handles for these. And so there's a nice variety of handles out there that you can customize these picks even further. So I really like them. I even really like the hybrid picks that they have. And so this is very similar to I think new Lock Noob's Boomerang pick. In fact, I think he was either an inspiration or helped consult on the design of these picks, which is really cool. And I'm going to fully admit, I'm getting okay with single pen picking. I'm getting up into the blue belt level now in the Lockpickers United system. But I'm not that good at raking locks open. I think I'm being too aggressive, or I'm still trying to learn that. And I'm actually finding it easier to rake locks or rock locks open with these picks here. And so these have greatly helped me in terms of learning a new skill and bettering how I'm doing things and all that. So I really love them. And I've used every single pick in this set. I can't say that for a lot of the different sets I got because there are picks that just I can't either see how they're used or just never really run into a situation with them. With these picks over here, the ones that have the aggressive curve in them, I've used these in the American Lock 1100 series, and I find it's a lot easier picking them open with those. I've used almost every single pick in here in different picks, different locks, and all that, and I absolutely love them. The one thing I kind of wish that they did was label them. I'm still new to Locksport and lockpicking, so I'm not used to the profiles. And so what I did was I actually went through and took my label maker and I printed out these labels for the picks. And let me see if I can get the camera to focus on that. I'm using a new setup here, so I do apologize. I'm still trying to learn how to get things focusing properly and all that. And so but it was easy to set these up. I just went to their site. They do sell each of the picks individually, and so I went through, just found it online, and then I printed out a little label that had a code on it, abbreviation for that pick. I kind of wish they did that originally, but they're really great picks. And the price of these aren't bad. They are a really high quality tool, so they are a bit pricey. But in terms of the UK, I think I spent like maybe 150, 100 and no, not 150. They're 150 GBT, which I think went down to 120 USD. Let me actually just look that up really quick here. Um, Give me 1 second. I know I should be more prepared for my videos. I promise the next video I'll be a lot more prepared for. Um, yep, so 150 GBP is 190 US dollars. And so, they are a bit pricey. I mean, Sparrows, you can get a set that is the same amount of picks for maybe 100, 110. But the quality of these picks are worth it. And when you compare it to other manufacturers that have high-priced tools for the quality, comparing to them, like Peterson's, um, I actually like these a lot better. One thing that when I bought this set, I was actually bouncing back and forth between this and Peterson's. I mean, there are other issues with Peterson's I'm not going to get into. But one thing that really kind of drove me to this rather than Peterson's is Peterson's picks aren't Fotane. Now, I'm a knife collector, I'm a sword collector, and so Fotane knives and Fotane swords are, there's a huge difference between that and partial tane. When you have Fotane, you're getting a tool that is better constructed, will hold up better, can handle stress and pressure. Because when you apply that stress to the tip, that's going to go throughout the entire handle. Peterson's, from what I saw with the cross section, only had the picks come down about this far. And so when you apply the pressure to the tip of the pick, that stress is only going to go down that far. It will go a little bit further into the handle, but you're putting a lot of stress into a small portion of the handle. Fotane, you get a much better distribution of the stress and all that. So that was another reason why I went with this pick set in particular. Another thing I really like about this set are the turning tools that come with it. Now, you do get the top of the keyway, and I'm going to call these top of the keyway. I know when you have in the UK with the Euro cylinders, you do often have those facing downwards. So in their case, it's bottom of the keyway tension. But um, here in the US, we often have that facing upwards, and so these are top of the keyway tension bars for me. What's really nice about these is I like the length of them. I like the curves. They're not overly aggressive in terms of the length after the curve. So for instance, when you look at the Covert Instruments, if I put this side by side, you can see the end's almost the same. And that makes a difference because if I go to use this on, say, an American lock here, when I go to do the top of the keyway tension, you're going to notice that it goes up almost right alongside of the lock. I don't have a lot of wiggle space with that, which is nice. However, when I go to use the Covert Instruments one, I have to have it further away. You can kind of get away with using the other side of it, but it doesn't go deep into the lock, and so it does pop out easily with that. So I just find that that length there is perfect for a lot of the locks I've been using. And when you look at Sparrows, Sparrows is kind of similar in terms of the length. But one thing that I noticed with Sparrows is that it's wider, and that you have a more I don't wider curve here. And so that actually does have a bit of an impact because if I go to do it in the American lock here, that curve is going to be right on the edge here. And that actually does make a bit of a difference. When you're using it, it pops out a lot easier. And so with this I just find to be really nice to use and all that. I also like how they have this label. Now, I of course grabbed one that was way too thin. This is the 0.8 millimeter. But you get the same standard widths with this. You have that. You have a 1 millimeter, 1.2 millimeter. And so I use the 1.2 millimeter a lot in like the American 1100 series. Um, but they also have this 2 millimeter one, which is really kind of nice that they include this thicker one. I haven't run across any locks to use this on yet, but I know there are locks out there, so having this nice wider uh, tension bar is really nice. But what I really love are the bottom of the keyway tension bars. And what I really like about them, you get the Z bar here, which is kind of nice because the other thing with this tension wrench here are on the short ends here. If you are having like the top of the keyway tension with it, or the key stack facing down, you can use those as a tension wrench nicely with that. It fits in there nicely. It's comfortable to hold. I may actually see if I can start getting myself to pick locks like this, or if I'm using it like this, see what I can do in this direction, because this is really nice and comfortable to hold. But what I really love are the tips. And so you'll see, you get two different styles here. You get the standard style that has the parallel sides, but you also have one here that kind of concaves towards the tip. It goes into a point. And I'm actually noticing a huge difference when I'm using this one versus this one. And what's really nice about that is when I'm using this one, it's giving me more room the deeper I go into the lock, which I'm noticing is huge. So if I go to say, like use this on my master lock here, when I have this in the actual lock here, as I'm going back for pin 4, pin 5, I'm not having to um, push up the first couple of pins as much. It's giving me that room that I can pivot around rather than having a less amount of room and not that ability. So if I go to go lower, you see when I have to bring the tip here or the end of it up here, which is pressing against pin 1 and 2. But if I go with the other one, and I'm playing this in, I have the room now to move that pivot point down towards pin 3, and so I'm not pressing up on pin 1 and 2 all that much anymore. So I love that design. I've been using this tension wrench a lot more, and it's kind of the one that I grab the most now. The other thing that I do like the carrying case with it. It is a nice, good quality carrying case. So for $190, you get a lot of high quality things and all that. Now, the one thing that, of course, I'm going to add this in this video. It's just the way I organize my tools. You can get a lot of different organizers for your lock picks, especially when you're working on like your workbench or your table and all that. But I have a drawer here that I use to hold all my picks and locks and keys in. So I can easily pull out like my tension bars, or if I wanted to grab like a cylinder lock, I've got them all right here in front of me. The only thing with this set is it doesn't really fit nicely in this. It has to go diagonally, so it won't hold a lot of picks. And I'm a little worried about bending them if I do it that way even. So I have to use a different organizer for these picks. But I keep them in this case here. It's a nice thin case when you fold it up. Um, what's nice about it is it does have this top flap here, and so you don't have to worry about your picks falling out. And when you fold it up, it is a nice thin case. In comparison, when I got the Wizzle Wazzle set from Sparrows, I got this case with it. And so you can see, it's a little thinner, especially from this end. And I just really like this case and all that. So that's my review of the Renegade set from Lock Tools. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Do feel free to like and comment on the video if you like it. Um, and I hope the video is coming across a little bit clearer. I am using a different camera setup, so I do apologize for the moments that I do lose focus. I'm still trying to figure out how to best set that up. But I hope the audio quality is better as well, so feel free to leave feedback for me. And I hope everyone has a beautiful day.